Hello, friends, and my dear aspirants. The UPSC Civil Services examination is often called one of the toughest mental tests in the world. But it is a test not just of your brain, but also of your mental strength, patience, and spirit. And what tests our patience the most? Can you guess? The wait, the prolonged wait, a long wait until things gets right. Hello everyone, the wait has ended and I am back with the Inspired series to help you with essay stories, ethics case studies and inspire you to become a better version of yourself. For 28 long years, 1998 to 2026, Norway's football team faced a continuous cycle of failure, missing out on the world's biggest stage while generation after generation of players retired in heartbreak. Similarly, an aspirant often spends years in a small room, watching attempts slip away while the world moves ahead. But you know what happened on 30th of June 2026? At the Dallas Stadium, Norway proved that a long wait is just a setup for a historic comeback. Let's intertwine their historic campaign with your reality. You might now just get a perfect roadmap for handling the toughest exam of your life that you're about to give. So let's start with the lessons that we have learned from this World Cup. Lesson number 1. Overcoming the gap years. Norway spent nearly 3 decades watching the World Cup on television. The society doubted them, and the critics claimed a small Scandinavian nation couldn't compete with football giants like Brazil. Instead of crying over past failures, you know what Norway did? Norway was silently shifting its focus onto something better. They spent years building a fresh core squad around a young captain Odegaard and a clinical striker Erling Haaland. Similarly, many UPSC aspirants face multiple attempts or long gap years between college and selection. The society naturally starts doubting you, and sometimes you start doubting yourself. But Norway did not spend 28 years crying over the spilled milk. They were silently building the new core team, they were focusing on the grassroots developments, and they waited for their time. And likewise, your past failed attempts or gap years, they do not define your final rank. Every single year you have spent studying has been a building block, whether you realize it or not. We can use our previous mistakes either to re-engineer our strategy, just like Norway rebuilt its squad. So the lesson over here is, we need to use our previous mistakes to re-engineer our strategy exactly like how Norway did. Lesson number 2, turning your failure into perfect qualification. When in 2026 this year, European qualifiers began, Norway didn't leave anything to chance. They didn't just aim to barely qualify. They maintained a flawless 100% win record, winning 8 on 8 matches and scoring overall 37 goals. It was historic. They treated every single small qualification match with the seriousness of a final. That is how they were able to do it, right? So for an aspirant like you, your daily routine is your qualification round running. You cannot expect to clear the final merit list if you skip your daily newspaper analysis, your answer writing practice, standard NCERT revisions. The flawless Norway showed in the qualifiers is the exact discipline you need at your study table every single day. True toppers are not created on the final exam day. They are built during the boring, repetitive, daily grind of ticking off the syllabus, match by match, chapter by chapter. Now comes the lesson number 3, the power of a support system. While Erling Haaland scored the goals, Norway's historic run was only possible because of their relentless defensive midfielders and the backroom coaching staff who analyzed data for hours. They didn't get the headlines, but they were the spine of the team. In fact, behind every successful leader or star player is a quiet, invisible ecosystem that absorbs the pressure so they can perform. So for a UPSC aspirant like you might be the one writing the exam, but your ecosystem. The 5 people around you, your parents who are silently making sacrifices, a sibling who's keeping you grounded, a mentor who's rectifying your mistakes at every step, or a friend who's pausing their own life to support yours, they are your backbone. Never underappreciate your support system. When self-doubt hits, remember, you aren't just fighting for your own dream, but you are carrying the collective faith of a few people who believed in you when you were at your zero. Let that belief fuel your engine. Now comes the next lesson. Overcoming the veteran's trauma. And many of you would be able to relate to this. You know, many players in the Norwegian squad had faced a good amount of heartbreak of missing out on the 2022 World Cup and the previous Euro matches. They carried the trauma of past failures. It would have been rather easy to develop an inferiority complex, right? You know, especially when you're facing football giants like Brazil or France. But here is where they are making the difference. They choose to separate their past record from their present potential. So believe me when I say, if you're a veteran aspirant with multiple attempts behind you, it is easy to let the ghost of past failures dictate your current preparation. You start entering the exam hall with an already defeated mindset. कि अब मुझसे क्या होगा? इतने time से नहीं हुआ. But look at Norway. A 28-year curse doesn't mean that the 29th year will be the same. Your past attempts do not define your next paper. Treat this attempt as a fresh, clean slate. Next chapter is about having an unwavering self-belief. You know, playing your own game in their knockout match against heavyweights like Brazil, Norway didn't try to cope up with the tiki-taka of Spain or samba football from Brazil. They knew their strength lay in physical endurance, rapid counter-attacks and clinical finishing. They believed in their brand of football even when the critics were calling it unconventional because they have been historically unsuccessful. So likewise in the UPSC journey, you will see toppers who studied 16 hours, others who didn't even make notes, some who chose completely different option subjects. But do not lose your identity trying to copy someone else's highlighted reel. Trust your own strategy, your own handwritten notes, your own clock. Self-belief, it means looking at the competition and saying that they are good, but I'm a little better and my method will get me through. Now let's move on to the next chapter. How do you handle the France match? Norway's 2026 World Cup journey was not a smooth ride actually. After a confident 4-1 win against Iraq, they crashed heavily into a wall, facing a devastating 1-4 defeat against the France in the group stage. It was a humiliating loss on global television that could have easily broken their morale and sent them packing. Instead, the team sat down, analyzed their defensive mistakes, adapted their strategy and bounced back to defeat Senegal by 2-1. Every serious aspirant will face their own France matches. It comes in the form of a mock test where your score dropped to a double digit below 50 marks, or an optional subject test series that's going completely wrong. A bad score, however, dear students, is never a permanent reflection of your capability. It is simply a diagnostic report showing you where your defense is weak. Got it? So just like the Norwegian squad, a true aspirant doesn't lose heart over a bad test score, a bad day, a day they couldn't follow up their routine. Rather, they look at the answer key, fix the logical gaps and march on to the next round, and this is how we are able to get rank in the UPSC Civil Services exam. Now comes the next lesson, an interesting one. The importance of the 86th minute focus. You know what happened during the match of 30th of June? The score was deadlocked at 1-1. The clock showed the 86th minute, leaving only 4 minutes of normal time. So naturally, the pressure was immense. Wankhede Stadium. One tiny error meant instant elimination, and not only that, another 4 years of wait. So in that high anxiety environment, Erling Haaland did not panic. He was a guy who blocked out the noise of millions of shouting fans, stayed perfectly calm, and smoothly slotted home the winning goal to send Norway into the historic round of 16 against Brazil. So those final minutes in Dallas are the exact mirror image of the 3 hours inside the UPSC exam hall. You know, when the clock is ticking down, your hands are tired from writing mains answers. Your hands will start shaking, time is running out fast, and anxiety will try to confuse you. But like Haaland, you must filter out the noise. Trust your preparation, keep your mind calm, and focus entirely on what you can control. That is, on the question in front of you. And this is more so important because mains is just coming out the corner and a lot of people would be preparing for it. And if you can follow these lessons along with your academic preparation, it might as well help you to create your own comeback, which makes me come to the last chapter. Write your own comeback story. Norway's 2026 campaign proves that no curse lasts forever if you refuse to give up. The administrative journey requires the heart of a lion and the patience of a Viking. So when you feel tired tonight, remember, 28 years of waiting did not stop a small country from making world history. A few difficult chapters or a few tough years cannot stop you from seeing your name in the final PDF. So guys, keep pushing forward with the heart of a lion. Stay disciplined and clear your World Cup. Best wishes till we meet again.